Welcome to Friday Classic Hymns. Every Friday I release a video like this, looking at an old classic hymn, at its story and its lyrics, and then just singing it at the end. And so may it bless you. And if you like it, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell so you can find out when the next one comes out. Today's is a beautiful song. And everyone thinks I'm a hymn guy, like I'm some expert on hymns, and I'm really not. I don't know hymns that well. I'm now at the point where I'm having to learn hymns that are classic, but I don't actually know them because I've never sung them. I grew up in a church where we didn't really do hymns that much. And so today's one, Softly and Tenderly, is a title that I've always known, but I don't remember singing this song. So I had to learn it today, and I'm glad I did because it's an absolutely beautiful song. Do you have memories of this song? Do you remember singing it at a particular church maybe? Does it mean anything to you, or do the particular words in this song bless you in a certain way? Please share that stuff below in the comments. It's been a joy for me to read the stories that go with these songs in your lives, and so I'd appreciate it if you would do that. And so let's look at the history of this lovely song. Will Thompson wrote this song. He was born in 1847 in Ohio, and he was a gifted musician. He ended up studying at the Boston Conservatory of Music in his early 20s, and then went over and studied some more in Germany. And so his talents with his music were obvious. And he began writing songs that were very popular. In fact, he made quite a good living from his music, writing secular songs that people really liked. Somewhere along the line, he must have become a Christian, because he started to write gospel songs, and they too became extremely popular. And he was known as a fine Christian man, as a gentle and kind man of God. He owned a music shop and a music publishing company, and everybody who knew him as a man of God. And in fact, Thompson had quite a busy music ministry. He would travel around in a horse and buggy to small towns in Ohio, singing his songs wherever he went. And he was so well known because of this. And undoubtedly, his most well-known song was Softly and Tenderly. It was a much-loved song from the moment he released it, and something about this song resonated with people. There was a tenderness to it, as the name actually suggests, that really brought the gospel truth to people in a very gentle and lovely way. In fact, the great evangelist DL Moody, who had such a passion for bringing people to God, would use this song at his meetings as an invitational song. And it is said that when Moody was on his deathbed, he said to Thompson that he would rather have written Softly and Tenderly than anything else that he'd done. So powerful is this song that even Moody recognized its ability to bring people to God. Thompson died in 1911, but as I often say about these hymn writers, he lives on through this song. And let's see what it is, as we look at the lyrics, that made this as popular as it is. So verse 1 says, Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling for you and for me. See, on the portals he's waiting and watching for you and for me. Softly and tenderly. I love this picture of Jesus not yelling, not shouting, not forcing, but softly, tenderly, with a love, calling. Now, notice that phrase, for you and for me. Throughout the whole song, he repeats this, for you and for me. There's a real power behind this phrase. You see, it could have just been for him. He could have written it for himself and said, whatever else happens, at least I know this truth. But he said, for you and for me. He had this great sense of, this is our truth. It's not my truth, it's our truth. And I thought about this. This is why we go to church, isn't it? You can obviously stay at home these days and enjoy church activities on your couch, but then you're just taking it for yourself. But at church, you're saying it's for you and for me. This great good news is for all of us. There's a shared love there. And really, when you are saying the love of Jesus is for you and for me, then you're getting it, because it's not just about us. It's about the people around us too. And I love this picture of Jesus waiting and watching, not forcing himself on anybody. He doesn't do that. He is patient and waits and watches, like the prodigal son, the father in the prodigal son story, waiting on that porch, waiting and watching for his son to come home. That's a picture of Jesus, or of God the Father, waiting for his children to come home. And that's what the chorus says. The refrain goes, come home, come home. You who are weary, come home. Drifting from God has a way of making us weary, and it's hard on our souls to be away from God because it's not where they're meant to be. There's no rest, real rest, apart from God. And so this picture of God the Father sitting on that porch waiting for us sinners to come home is what the song is all about. Earnestly, tenderly, he says, Jesus is calling. Earnestly, tenderly, calling, O sinner, come home. Earnest, I love that word earnestly. You see, there's a seriousness to it. Jesus is really wanting us, desiring us to come back home. But his earnestness doesn't make him shout and get aggressive. There's a tenderness to it, a gentle love that draws people in rather than a forceful shout which pushes people in. And so maybe you need to hear this today. Maybe you're weary because you've been drifting from God and you need to hear him gently calling to you, come home, my child. Come home. He's waiting. Now verse 2 goes like this. Why should we tarry? Why should we wait when Jesus is pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies? Mercies for you and for me. Why wait? In fact, I dealt with this in my encounter on Sunday. Those of you who watch my encounter worship sessions, if you look at the last one I released, I spoke about how there are times when we seem to wait, we seem to hesitate to go back. It's as if we're thinking, well, we're too soiled, we're too stained, we're too sinful. God would not want us in his presence, and so we hesitate, we wait. But why should we wait? Jesus is calling and saying, come. I see your stains, but I want to wash you. I see how you've drifted, but I want to welcome you back home. Why wait? Why tarry? Why linger and not receive the mercy that he has for us? And in that encounter, I shared a verse where Paul talked about Ananias, who helped him become a Christian. And Ananias said to him, what are you waiting for? In Acts 22, I love that. What are you waiting for? Just receive the love of God. And maybe today you need to hear this. What are you waiting for? There's no need to wait. Jesus has got open arms and he's calling you gently. Come home. Come home. Verse 3 again tells of this seriousness, this earnestness, this urgency of this call of Jesus. Time is now fleeting. The moments are passing from you and from me. And so he's saying, time is short. Shadows are gathering. Deathbeds are coming for you and for me. That phrase apparently is quite controversial. Some people have changed that because it's a little bit too serious, I guess. But I think it's important that it's there. Deathbeds are coming. Yes, death is awaiting each of us, and we need to make this decision to go to Jesus soon. And I love this. I love that he gets serious about it without getting aggressive again. He says, you need to do this. You need to come home because deathbeds are waiting and shadows will fall on your life. But come home, tenderly he pleads, come home. Isn't that Jesus for you? Come home. Tenderly but seriously, come home before it's too late. And as that last verse said, there is mercy for you. Don't come home and then expect you're going to be pushed around and beaten up. No, there's mercy, tender mercies for you. But come before it's too late. Verse 4 says this, oh, for the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. Yes, he has promised you love and mercy if you will come home. And then the last line says, though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. And so you don't need to feel like you must wait until you've sorted yourself out. Do you hear this? You don't need to wait until you are right to present yourself to God. That's totally wrong. You need to come as you are, though you have sinned, and receive his mercy and pardon. Jesus was known for reaching out to the sinners because they were the ones who needed to come home. And so even if you know you've sinned, and I hope you do know that you've sinned, come home because there is pardon, there is forgiveness, there is mercy for you, friends, whoever you are. No matter how far you've gone, there is mercy. Somebody on this channel the other day commented on one of the hymns, I think it was Jesus Loves Me, and said, oh, the version I know, says when you mess up, God's going to curse you. I'm not even going to repeat how it was phrased. And I wanted to say to this person, no, if you mess up, come home, because there is grace and pardon for you. And so, come home today, friends. Jesus is calling you softly and tenderly, earnestly, because there is going to be a time that it's too late if you haven't said yes to the call. And so earnestly, but tenderly, he is calling sinners like all of us to come home and find redemption and find a new forgiveness and a new sense of love. Oh, what wonderful words. Again, I ask you, does the song resonate with you? Does it touch your heart today, or has it drawn you near to God in the past? Sing it with me now, would you? And once again, thank you, friends, for just being part of my channel. I appreciate your support with every video. Sing along with me now.
Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling for you and for me. See on the portals, he's waiting and watching for you and for me. Come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies for you and for me? Come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Time is now fleeting, the moments are passing from you and from me. Shadows are gathering, deathbeds are coming for you and for me. Come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Oh, for the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. Though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. You who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner,